Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Game Design. In this episode, we're diving into a fascinating question. Why do some games feel absolutely incredible even when the mechanics are deceptively simple? Think about titles like Celeste, Vampire Survivors, Loop Hero, or Short Hike. These games don't overwhelm players with 100 different mechanics, but they stick. They feel good and they create flow, immersion, and joy. But how? In 2025, we're seeing a renaissance of minimalistic design. With rising development costs and player fatigue for overly complex systems, more and more developers are stripping down to the essentials and doing it with purpose. Result: games that feel tighter, more focused, and more satisfying. But make no mistake, simple doesn't mean easy. In fact, it takes incredible design precision to make a game feel deep with only a few core mechanics. So without further ado, let's break down how simplicity becomes power and why some of the most engaging games today are also some of the most mechanically minimal. Let's get into it. Core loops refined to perfection. When you peel back what makes a game fun, it usually comes down to a satisfying core loop. That loop might be jumping and collecting, dodging and attacking, or matching and clearing. The best minimalistic games refine that loop until it feels buttery smooth. For example, Celeste has just a few actions: jump, dash, climb, but every frame movement is tuned to perfection. The player feels in control and deeply connected to the character's every action. The key here is feedback. Simple mechanics feel good when they offer precise, immediate, and meaningful feedback. Satisfying jump sound, a crisp dash animation, or soul screen shake can make the difference between meh and wow. Moreover, Vampire Survivors exemplifies this. You don't press attack, the game auto-fires, but the flow of movement, enemy waves, and escalating upgrades create an addictive feedback loop that's hard to put down. In 2025, designers are learning to build experiences around a tight loop that expands through mastery, not complexity. It's about getting better at a simple mechanic, not just unlocking new ones. This aligns with the rise in pick-up and play genres that dominate mobile, Steam Deck, and handheld consoles. Players want games that respect their time while still feeling rewarding. By perfecting a loop, designers can create entire experiences out of what is technically a single mechanic. The depth comes not from quantity, but from the nuance of execution, rhythm, and scaling tension. Constraints as creative catalysts. Simplicity often emerges not despite constraints but because of them. Whether it's limited budget, small team size, or tight deadlines, constraints force focus. Indie studios especially know this well. Instead of trying to simulate everything, they ask, what is the most meaningful interaction our player can have? Then they polish to a mere shine. For example, Downwell was made by a solo developer and has just one main interaction: fall and shoot downward. But the elegance of the design, the upgrade paths, and the enemy behaviors make it feel deep and varied. Likewise, a Short Hike relies only on a few simple mechanics: climb, glide, talk, but crafts a world filled with emotion and discovery. In 2025, many of the year's standout games have come from teams of 5 people or fewer. Their secret? A tight focus on one great idea, not dozens of mediocre ones. Games like Real Life and Glint are examples of 2025 breakout hits built on minimal systems, but with immense polish and personality. Remember, design thrives under constraint. When you can't hide behind bloat or spectacle, you're forced to design with intention. That discipline translates directly into better experiences for players. Emotional resonance through simplicity. Here's something fascinating. Simple mechanics often allow emotions to shine through more clearly. Without the clutter of complex systems, players can focus on the narrative, the vibe, or the internal journey. For example, Journey, To the Moon, and Unpacking all create deep emotional impact with minimal mechanics. This is especially powerful when mechanics are used as metaphors. In A Short Hike, climbing becomes a metaphor for personal growth. In Celeste, the difficulty reflects the protagonist's mental struggles. These connections feel stronger when the mechanics are simple enough to feel, not analyze. In 2025, more designers are tapping into this emotional layer, especially in the cozy and narrative spaces. With the growth of the feel-good game trend, players are seeking comfort, self-expression, and connection. Developers like Chi Big, Extra Nice, and Wholesome Games Collective are creating emotionally resonant experiences with mechanics as light as dialogue choices, exploration, or basic crafting. Remember, simplicity is clarity. It's a design choice that allows space for emotion, music, art, and pacing to do their work. When mechanics step aside, atmosphere and storytelling can move front and center. Depth through emergence, not complexity. Some games feel deep not because they have a lot of mechanics, but because the mechanics interact in interesting ways. This is the power of emergence. When a few simple rules combine into complex outcomes, players feel agency and discovery. Think Minecraft, Into the Beach, or Baba Is You. Emergence comes from interactions, not additions. A game might only have 3 mechanics, but the way those mechanics combine with player creativity, environment conditions, or enemy AI create infinite variations. This makes the world feel alive and responsive without needing bloated design. In 2025, designers are focusing on systematic depth. Rather than designing every scenario by hand, they're rebuilding systems that generate scenarios. This saves development time while increasing replayability. Games like Terra Arcana and Lightful Groove have showcased how simple input mechanics can lead to a rich tapestry of play. Moreover, Emergence also respects players as co-authors. Instead of watching the story unfold, players participate in its creation. That agency is powerful and achievable even with basic mechanics, if those mechanics are well tuned. What we're seeing in 2025 is a shift toward meaningful minimalism. In an age of infinite content and overwhelming complexity, players are craving focus. Games that do one thing well, really well, are thriving. Simple mechanics are not a shortcut, they are a design discipline. They require clarity, intentionality, and intimate understanding of how players think and feel. But when executed with care, they create magic. As a developer, don't fall into the trap of feature bloat. Ask yourself, what's the one thing my game does better than anything else? What's the core feeling I want players to walk away with? Then double down on that. But that's about it from my side. What do you think about this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And hey, if you like this video, click like, share and subscribe to watch more videos like this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay silver.